Okay. And here we go. It is December the 11th. Wow. Thinker. Liquid gal. See if you're jumping on here now. That's good to see. Good to see you folks. 79 terra firma. Yow and Glen B. Looks like everybody's starting to slide in here. Settling in for a little chat. Snowmatic, you made it. I bet you got some snow there too where you're at, eh? No doubt. Pretty frigid out west. Dino. Howdy rowdies. Yowza. We's all here. There's Wyerton Dan. Right on. Well. I guess you've seen the thumbnail. And there's Faye. Ms. Knox. Snow been winter there for months already. Well, we've been lucky here. Got no snow on the ground, and we've been above freezing. It's chilled off now the last couple of days, but other than that, no complaints here on this end. Oh, nice day in Saskabush, -10. Wow, it's quite balmy. No notification, Faye. Check your bell. Make sure you've, you've clicked on that bell. It might have got turned off by you know who. You know who YouTube. They seem to do that. So, Mr. Magoo, welcome back. So like I say, you've obviously you've seen the thumbnail and that nice looking jet. Nice looking piece of equipment. Be nice if we had something like that, wouldn't it? I'm going to jump into that in a little bit here. I'll let a few more people get on. We're up 17, maybe hit 20 or something. I'll start it up. But yeah, the country's in a mess. And it's been created intentionally by the powers that be that we have right now. That seems to be their raison d'etre, or raison d'etre, however you want to say it. Just let's tear the country apart and build back better from the scraps that are left over. Well, we don't want to let that happen, do we? So I can see protests starting up again, and if they do, then we got to just do our part and try to get out there and raise a little hell, right? Snowmatic, no gold. No, Trudeau sold that off as soon as he got in. He couldn't sell it quick enough, and China couldn't grab it fast enough. Funny how all our wealth was just redistributed to China. So, yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like an accident. It seems like it was very well planned out. We're going to take a look at some flying machines here of Canada, what we have and what other countries have. And I haven't really looked too much at the U.S. We know what the U.S. their F-35s that we should have had, but Junior and all his stupidity canceled that. So now we live with the consequences. So I'm going to bring up all these pages here. I can bring them up here. There's one. So this is the CF-18. They call it the CF-188 Hornet, but it is the CF-18, and it is. It says it's commonly called the CF-18. It's multi-role fighter aircraft. Well, it was in its day. it is used for air defense. Air superiority? I don't think so. Ground attack, okay. Tactical support, I have my doubts on that. Good for training, I guess. And it's good for acrobatic demonstration, so you can put on a show for the people. So do some aerobatics. I don't think that's really self-defense. And aerospace testing and evaluation, maybe they'd be doing a few things with that. I can't see doing too much with an old CF-18. I think they're past their best before date. The Hornet is a fast, light, and maneuverable aircraft. Okay. I don't know how fast, though. Because of its power, speed, and target tracking capabilities, it has had great success in many military operations in Canada and around the world. I don't know where they're getting this information. I don't think we had some CF-18s over in Afghanistan. Other than that, I really don't know. Their maximum standard thrust per engine is 4,850 kilograms. Try to remember that number. Their afterburner thrust per engine was 7,290 kilograms, and they were good for a Mach 1.8. So 1.8 times the speed of sound. Sounds fast, but I don't know. Did you ever see somebody splitting wood on a winter day? A neighbor down the street, you can see him hit it with an axe, and the wood falls apart, and then a few seconds later you hear the crack. Mach 1.8 is not impressive. Aircraft is used as a fighter air demonstration. Yeah, look what we got. You better stay back. No, you know, we got CF-18s. Woohoo! Okay, enough of that. Let's go on to this other one here. I want to take a quick peek at this too. This is the announcement that they made December 12th. Okay, this was in 2017. So 5 years ago, almost to the day. Trudeau made the big announcement. Canada to buy used Australian jets over new Boeing aircraft. Well, let's see. Who was in the White House on 2017? Oh, right. That was President Trump. And Trudeau had to try to snub him any way he could, right? So what did he do? Well, he just ditched the F-35s and went for to buy these used 18 Super Hornet jet fighters. Wow. Super in their day. So they wanted to buy 18 used F-18 fighters from Australia, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau previously warned that Canada would stop doing business with Boeing if it doesn't drop a trade complaint against Canadian plane maker Bombardier. Wow, see? All you had to do is speak out against Quebec and Bombardier, and oh boy, Trudeau's not going to have anything to do with that. Instead of us getting those nice new equipped jets from the U.S., the deal was signed by the previous government. Trudeau just threw it in the trash and went to buy some junk from Australia. Said the government warned again that the company will have little chance of winning a new contract for 88 additional fighter jets under the status quo. We would have had a lot of them by now. Now we're at the tail end of everybody else, and Trudeau announced there not too long ago, gee, maybe we should get some F-35s. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen now. Trudeau's government also said Tuesday it will assess company's overall impact on Canada's economy before buying the 88 additional fighter jets to replace its aging F-18. Excuse me, I almost choked on that. He was worried about our economy? What a load of BS. He's destroyed our economy. Bidders responsible for harming Canada's economic interest will be at a distinct disadvantage compared to bidders who aren't engaged in detrimental behavior. Procurement Minister Carla Qualtrough, the one with the blue eyes, one blue left and one blue right. Can't handle looking at her because she looks like a complete idiot. She sounds like a complete idiot. If it walks like one and looks like one, it probably is one, right, folks? Boeing spokesman Scott Day acknowledged that the statement was directed toward the company and said that Boeing respects the Canadian government's decision to buy the Australian junk. Day also said they will review the requirements for the new fleet and emphasized what he said was Boeing's long-term presence in Canada. I think you have to let our record speak for itself, Day said in an email. No kidding. Boeing claims Bombardier's new C-Series passenger aircraft receives subsidies that give it an advantage internationally, which is true. And we pay for that, folks, with no return. Canada had been in talks to purchase the 18 Super Hornet fighter jets from Boeing rather than the used aircraft from Australia, in an effort to bridge the gap between its aging F-18s and the new fighter fleet that it plans to purchase. Officials said the Australian jets will cost significantly less than Super Hornets and can be put into action 2 years earlier. I'm going over this, folks, because this is all smoke and mirrors. I'm just bringing you up for a little history lesson here. We received an offer for sale of F-18 aircraft from the government of Australia, and they were laughing when they signed that deal, the Australians, right? Which we intend to pursue, and we have received an offer of Super Hornets from the U.S. government, which we intend to let expire, Qualtrough said. Aren't they just a bunch of geniuses, eh? Jonathan Vance, Chief of the Defence, well, he's long gone, of the Canadian Armed Forces, said the Australian jets will work fine and that Canada can't meet its domestic and international obligations without some form of supplemental capability until the future fighter fleet is in place. What are we talking? Another 50 years? Canada, well, it depends how long this clown show stays in, I guess. Canada will begin receiving deliveries of the used Australian jets next year. Okay, this is December 2017. 2018 should be receiving our jets. Our parts, I guess. But officials said the Australian jets will cost significantly less than Super Hornets, can be put into action 2 years earlier. We have received an offer for sale of F-18 aircraft from the government of Australia, which we intend to pursue. We have received an offer of Super Hornets from the... Oh, I read that, sorry. My page is jumping on me. Jonathan Vance, Chief of the Defence Staff, okay, read that. Canada would begin receiving deliveries of Australian jets next year, yeah. The deal is about $388 million, and Vance expected the fleet of 88 next-generation fighters to arrive in 2025. And the government said the competition would be open to all companies as bidding gets underway. 2025, that date keeps coming up now instead of 2030. 2025, and this is for good, they're good for ground attacks? Okay, just thinking out loud. Analysts see Boeing rival Lockheed Martin's F-35 as a likely contender in the procurement process, despite an earlier vow from Trudeau not to buy it on the grounds that it was too expensive. Trudeau has since softened that stance. And the ex-defense minister, disgraced defense minister, Harjit Sajjan, said the new fleet of planes required to meet Canada's commitments of NATO and the North American Aerospace Defense Command. More BS. So, it's... that was all a bunch of smoke and mirrors from the Liberal Party of Canada. So, I will look at one more article on their bragging about buying the used Australian jets. I don't see the bragging rights in it, but it's called deception, I guess. Deceiving the Canadian people. So this is from Fox Business. So this is the U.S. take on this. And this is from the same day, December 12th, 2017. I guess that's when the announcement must have broke. Trudeau had previously warned that Canada would stop doing business with Boeing if it doesn't drop the trade complaint. He said that it will assess companies' overall impact on our economy and blah, blah, blah. I think you have to let our record speak for itself, Day said in an email. That's from the Boeing spokesman there, Scott Day. That's heading back down the same path. I must hit the same one. Sorry, let's bring this one up. This is Seattle Times. Canada's Trudeau plans to buy used Australian jets. Same day, December 12th. So that went big through the U.S. So that's a Super Hornet, F-18 Super Hornet. That's from the U.S. That image there. That's not the ones that the used ones from Australia. The Trudeau government is escalating a trade fight with Boeing. That's what Trudeau wanted to do with the U.S. with the Trump administration. All he wanted to do was try to look like he was a tough guy. He always tries to pull that off, right? Like he wants to look like the tough guy, and he's a pussy. Okay, so he ditched the plans by the 18 Super Hornets. These are all commentaries on what Trudeau has done to our Air Force. What he has done to Canada. He has destroyed our defense. So here's an update, most recent I could find, and it's from our glorious national broadcaster, the Communist Broadcasting Corporation. This is from December 2020, so this is 3 years almost to the day after the announcement. Most of the used fighter jets bought by Canada are still not in service. And that's in 2020. I'll guarantee you they're still sitting there somewheres under wraps. It was almost as good a deal as the submarines that Kretchen bought that caught on fire and killed the guys on the way over. And the other ones went down to the bottom and hit something and couldn't get it back up. The major radar upgrades to the existing fleet are expected to take up to 5 years. That would be 2025. And how many do they have, though? Only 3 of the 7 F-18 fighter jets purchased from Australia by the Canadian government have been integrated into the Air Force so far. The Department of National Defence says key upgrades to as much as 1/3 of Canada's fighter force will take up to 5 years, according to documents recently tabled in the House of Commons. The slow introduction, of the used warplanes meant to bolster Canada's existing CF-18 squadrons. I love how CBC words their stuff. And a long timeline for radar refurbishment have the opposition Conservatives questioning the value of the interim fleet. No kidding. Written government response to questions posed by the Conservatives last October was put before MPs recently. It said that the older fighters will continue to join Canadian Air Force at regular intervals. They didn't lay out a precise timeline. National Defence. Back here, National Defence will continue to work to integrate Australian F-18 Hornet aircraft into its current fleet of CF-18s as it completes the necessary modifications and upgrades to these aircraft, said the document. So they're going to take an old piece of junk and try to make it into a newer piece of junk. New radar, old planes. The Liberal government purchased 18 used fighter jets from Australia. The last of them won't be delivered until the summer of 2021. I doubt if they're here yet. We haven't heard anything, have we? When it first announced the plan 3 years ago, the government said it expected to keep most of the existing CF-18 fleet flying until 2032. Wow. They did that with the Sea King helicopters, didn't they? We see how well that played out. Helicopters dropping out of the sky, killing people, and Kretchen refused to buy new ones. The order paper question also noted that 3 dozen existing CF-18s will get upgraded radar, and the Air Force is currently deciding which of its fighters, which were built in the 1980s, will get the highly advanced new system. It's already outdated, folks. It's already outdated. These clowns, they put this stuff out there like it's some amazing feat that they're going to update them. No, they're not. They'll never catch up with those old-timers. Engineers still need to sort out the obstacles involved in combining the new equipment with the older airframe, see? I haven't read these articles, I just grabbed them. Within the next months, National Defence will select 2 aircraft to test the installation process of the new radar, the government reply. The remaining 34 aircraft will be selected over the next 24 months. All right, an exercise in futility, yeah? The end date for the upgrades is significant, Bazan said, because that's when the Liberal government expects the first of a brand new fleet of fighters to arrive. 3 aerospace companies have submitted bids to manufacture Canada's next generation of warplanes, but the government has yet to decide on a winner, and they still haven't, have they? Have you ever heard anything? Anybody heard anything at all about these new fighters? No, nothing. All we've got is lockdowns and threats. This is strictly an exercise in futility, said Bazan. Here they are buying 18 rusted out old Aussie fighter jets, ones that the Auditor General said not to buy. So why are we wasting taxpayer money and the resources of the Canadian Armed Forces to put these old planes into service? It's a hard-hitting report released in the fall of 2018. Then Auditor General Michael Ferguson did not offer advice to the Liberal government, but he did pick apart the plan to augment the existing CF-18 fleet to fill what Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan has called a capability gap. Well, some of my chat's getting away on me here, folks. I just can't keep up. Can't do two things at once. Okay, let's cap nobody. I'm going to... I think what we need to do now is take a look at what does the opposition have? And I'm not talking about our government. I'm talking about Russia and China. Well, they got a hell of a lot more than we got. This is the MiG-35 Fulcrum F multi-role fighter. The MiG-35 is a new export variant that combines the modern systems of the MiG-29M2 with an AESA, that's an acronym for Active Electronically Scanned Array, radar, and manufactured by Mikoyan, I think it is, maybe pronounced. My Russian's not very good. Fighter plane has the thrust vectoring of the MiG-29 OVT as an additional option. This is what our CF-18s with the used parts would be going up against. I feel sorry for our pilots. MiG-35 is a new export variant that combines the modern systems of the MiG-29M2 with an AESA radar and manufactured by Mikoyan. The fighter plane has the thrust vectoring of the MiG-29 OVT as an additional option. Improved avionics and weapon systems, notably the new AESA radar and uniquely designed optical locator system, make the aircraft less dependent on ground-controlled interception systems and enables the MiG-35 to conduct independent multi-role missions. And they're upgrading the radar on the CF-18s. Maybe the boys and gals flying them will look at the radar screen and say, holy crap, ditch it, we're out of here. If they see one of these MiGs coming in, or a bunch of these MiGs coming in, they got to get back to ground, I think. MiG-35 is compatible with Russian and foreign origin weapons applications and an integrated variety of defense systems to increase combat survivability. The fighter plane is being marketed globally under the designation of the MiG-35, a single seat, and the MiG-35D, the dual seat. MiG Corporation made their first official international MiG-35 presentation during the Aero India 2007. MiG-35 Fulcrum F is an export version of the MiG-29M OVT Fulcrum F. So this is it's a prototype, was back in 2007. This is 10 years before Twinkle Toes in Ottawa decided that he was going to buy some used junk from Australia. Maybe somebody, Sajjan maybe, or somebody at the time, maybe could have given him the heads up that, hey, look, better take a look at what Russia's got developed here. Maybe we should think about buying some new planes instead of some old parts. But no, they don't see it that way. It's a contender to the Eurofighter Typhoon. the FA-18E, F Super Hornet, and that's not the ones we have. Dassault Rafale, that's, I think, I don't know if that's French. Jazz 39, the Gripen, I think that's French. F-16 Falcon, and for the bid of more than 126 multi-role combat aircraft worth $10 billion to be procured by the Indian Air Force. They were commenced production of the MiG-35 fighter at their plant in Russia in 2013 and 14 as part of the bid. How many of these do they have, I wonder? Let's take a look. I think it's on here. MiG-35 is the first Russian aircraft to be fitted with active electronically scanned array radar. The Zuk MA's antenna consists of 160 modules, each with 4 receive and transmit modules. It is believed to offer a 160 kilometer air target detection radius and a 300 kilometers for surface ships. That's a good reach. Like radar, OLS allows the MiG-35 to detect targets and aim weapon system. But unlike radar, OLS has no emissions, meaning it cannot be detected. These guys are way ahead of us. The OLS on the MiG-35 is considered to help pilots to spot even the USAF stealth planes. Wow. OLS includes a complex of powerful optics with infrared vision that makes it impossible for any plane to hide. In other words, they're sitting ducks. The engines are powered by 2 RD-33 MKBs that can be fitted with KLI VT swivel nozzles and a thrust vectoring control system. The combination of TVC and advanced missile warning sensors gives it the edge during combat. The engines generate 7% more power compared to the baseline model due to the modern materials that go into the manufacturing of the cooled blades. They got a higher than average thrust of 9,000 kilograms force. And what did I say the CF-18 said? 4,000? Or was it 3,500 or something like that? A lot less. They're smokeless and include systems that reduce infrared and optical visibility. They may be fitted with vectored thrust nozzles, which would result in improvement in combat efficiency. Those are the MiGs. They're new MiGs. They've got, I've seen the numbers, how many they have. Look at the maneuverability. It's a highly maneuverable air superiority fighter, which is shown for the first time in August 2005 during the MAX air show outside Moscow. It's super maneuverable, capability to fly at supercritical angles of attack at increased level of sustained and available G loads and high turn angle rate, which requires a greater thrust to weight ratio and improved wing aerodynamic efficiency. Sounds like quite a machine. The weapons, they include the KH-31A anti-ship missiles with active radar seekers, the KH-31P anti-radar missiles, KH-29TE missiles, and KAB-500K RTV guided bombs. Added when equipped with an external optical laser targeting pod, the fighter can use the KH-29L air-to-surface missiles and KAB-500L laser-guided bombs. These weapons will allow the aircraft to engage aerial and land targets. Just thinking here on the spot, but you know, with what's going on over in well, I'll say Putin and the clown, okay. Do you think they're really pouring all their stuff into that neighboring country? No. If they brought these machines in there, that could be over in days. So I just don't think that they're unloading everything they've got there. I think they're holding back. I'm going to carry on here a little bit with these weapons. I'll go to the refueling. In addition of a strap-on tank behind the cockpit, it was allowed the MiG-35 to have a higher internal fuel capacity of 950 liters. The capacity of the external fuel tank suspended under the fuselage has increased up to 2,000 liters. The ferry range with 3 external fuel tanks has also been increased, rising to 3,100 kilometers, and with 1 in-flight refueling, your range will be 5,400 kilometers. Well, that would get them across Canada, no problem. The fuel management system has also been digitized and includes a new digital fuel metering system. And then what has China been up to? Well, they're no laggards. They're not buying used parts. Look at the mighty Dragon, China's $120 million answer to the Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter jet. Look at this baby. Whoa, that's a CF-18 scarer if I ever seen one. The Chengdu J-20 is China's most advanced stealth fighter jet. The jet's research and development cost more than 30 billion yuan, or about 4.4 billion, that'd be US. J-20 reportedly had several encounters with the US-made Lockheed Martin F-35 jets in 2020. Wow. How did that go? There's a picture of a side shot of it. These things are way more advanced than anything we've got or dream of having here with this government. The jet, nicknamed Dragon, was introduced to China's People's Liberation Army Air Force in 2017. What was going on in 2017? Oh, right, Trudeau was buying used junk from Australia. Piece of crap. Made his public debut November 2016 at the air show in Guangdong, China. It is only the third, 5th generation fighter jet in history. After the US-made Lockheed Martin F-22 and F-35 jets, the Chinese Air Force had a fleet of more than 50 J-20 jets in 2021. Are we going to put our 18 pieces of junk he bought up against this? I don't think so. Chinese jet has drawn comparisons to the F-35 since the jets were locked in military encounters in 2020. Where did that happen? It was introduced to the U.S. military in July 2015. There's 3 variants. There's the conventional takeoff and landing, F-35A, the short takeoff and vertical landing, F-35B, and the carrier, F-35C. This is so much farther advanced than we would ever dream of. Lockheed Martin touts the F-35 as the most advanced fighter jet in the world, with very low observable stealth, advanced sensors, information fusion, and network connectivity, but there's stiff competition from the J-20. They encountered the J-20, the F-35s, in the East China Sea, and impressed a top U.S. Force General. The South China Morning posted an interview with the Mitchell Institute of Aerospace Studies in March. General Kenneth Wilsbach, the head of the U.S. Pacific Air Force, said China's ability to defend their nation is robust. Do tell. It's a bit early to tell exactly what they intend to do with the J-20. Really all we've seen it do is air superiority. Well, that's a lot. He had that Chinese pilots were flying the jet pretty well, I bet. It's a long, wide aircraft. It has a length of 23 meters and a height of 5 meters. It has a maximum speed of 2,468 kilometers per hour and a travel range of 5,926 kilometers. The F-35 has a maximum speed of only 1,960 kilometers per hour and a shorter range of 2,200 kilometers. So air superiority, yeah, I would say China's got, and Russia pretty much got that wrapped up, eh? So, now, question is this intentional? Did 2017, when the deal was signed with Australia, I don't think anybody can convince me that our liberal government, our federal government, wasn't aware of what Russia and China were building Were we sold out? Have we been sold completely out? You know, what's happened there? Very suspicious, isn't it? Everything this guy's been doing, we look back at their Air Force, how he's destroyed it, how he's treated the military, the Army, all the armed forces. Can't really pick on one. I guess I had a little buffering going on, did I? I couldn't see the chat, folks, so probably because I had too many pages open at once again. So anyways, it's just another example of what they've been pulling. Like, they're not that stupid. They know what's going on. We're not that stupid. We know what's going on. Seems to me that China's kind of running the country. So right now there's lots of talk about war. They're rattling the sabers. They're jousting. They're doing their I guess antagonizing each other, threatening each other, both sides. Lines are being drawn. Countries are forming allies. There's a big division. So if there's a confrontation between, we'll say, NATO, which I think we shouldn't belong to, that's another issue, between NATO and a handful of other countries, I wonder how prepared the U.S. is to defend their northern border. We always seem to concentrate on the southern border, but not the northern border. I think they'd have to do some very fast maneuvering, because Russia and China would be a cakewalk coming through here. Be no problem at all. And I think that would be the most vulnerable place to head south. So anyways, that's just one of the things I was looking at that seems to be forgotten about. Nobody seems to be talking about our military. They're talking about sniffles and colds and stuff like that, right? So people are distracted. The government is distracting people. Why would this clown want to take all means of defense away from the Canadian people? All means of defense, just eliminate it. We're talking personal. We're talking the military. You know, it's quite disturbing. And I feel the Maid thing should be what undoes the Liberals. It's hard to say what's going to happen with that. Look, every time they think that they've got him on something, he just skates away on it. Yeah, I don't know how to... it's hard to figure out. I mean, it's just, he sold us out every way he can, and he's still in here doing all the damage he can to make us as vulnerable as possible. And line up, because they'll say, oh no, there's a triple threat here now, so you got to, you better line up and get your protection. They're trying that again. They haven't let off on it. I guess just get the numbers down as much as possible. So that's where we're at. Trying to watch my screen here and it's not catching up. It's way behind because you folks are saying it was buffering. Yeah, I believe it was. I don't know if I can do that or not. Ooh, no. What did I do? In trouble now, folks. There. Try it again. There. Fixed it. Okay. It's me playing around now and froze. Oh, let's see who else we got here. What's going on? We got a human compost cemetery mess bridge. Really? So, looks like I'm frozen. It'll take a little while to catch up, probably. Phil, divide and conquer. Yeah. No kidding. What else we got? So anyways, that's just look at one aspect of that's being kind of ignored. Nobody's talking about our military capabilities. I know that's an oxymoron, but I always thought military was quite important. But then again, every time this bunch gets into power, the first thing they attack is the military. But this time it wasn't really. Well, yeah, it's kind of hard now to think back when you first get in. There's a lot of generals went up on charges. There was regulations that were softened or changed for new entries into the military. Yeah, cutting back. Of course, they always cut back on the funding for the military. They got, and then he attacked the civilians, and he still is. So, why Keystone just after Alberta's sovereign? Yeah. Was there 2 breaks in that line? I'm not sure. I know there was they've had some issues down in the U.S. with their power plants and fiber optic cables cut and stuff. They got a lot of issues going on down there where people have. What do I got going here? Oh, there. Sorry, I'm just getting back into this, guys. It's been a while since I've done this, and I'm trying to deal with issues. So, there. Hopefully I'm caught up. I think that's why I'm loving the movement in Alberta and Saskatchewan. Pray for the movement. Still, biblical understanding is at the end they're going to try to control the world like a James Bond villain. Oh yeah, that's their game. Okay, we're back on track. Boot the RCMP. Yeah, they're disgraced too with Lucky. That's another mess. There's, I don't know. There's just, look what's going down. I mean, they're not letting up. I'm talking about the government. They're pushing everything they can as fast as they can. They're freaking out, folks. They're freaking out because they know that the word is out. There's a lot of people have woken up to what's going on. I think it's a little too late. It's too bad people were sound asleep for the last 3 or 4 years. Phil, BC may benefit from the provincial political landlock. Good luck in BC. Bug Katie, are the jets in better shape than the used submarines that Canada bought a few years ago? I don't think so. I think they're just parts. That's all it is. You haven't heard any more about the used submarines, have you? I'm sure they're not being used. That was just another boondoggle by the Chrétien government. Military was in town for the emergency response drill. They showed up wearing 40-year-old fatigues. Yeah, well, they sent them over to Afghanistan wearing boreal forest camo out in the middle of the desert. I don't think they had any ammo either. They had to get that from the U.S. Dino, didn't the sub start on fire? Yeah, it started on fire on the way over, one of them, and killed a couple of people, for sure. Why subs are dry docked last time I checked. Yeah, they can't put them in the water. They're not safe. Should get German subs. Should get, yeah, old U-boats. No, we don't have much going on here for military. Actually, our country is pretty much screwed. I noticed that, I don't know if I should even go down this road. I'll just say that I noticed that at the bank the other day there was only one, I would say, natural-born Canadian working at the bank. She's been there a long time, so she's probably being slowly pushed out, making way for the new employees coming in. So I see that quite a bit now too. Don't get me wrong, there's some good people coming in from other countries, but there's still, Canadians should be allowed to have their jobs too, right? Pushback on Bill 21 lately, yeah. I just found a new channel. I forget the name, but it's a native fella doing a great job, and he's covering this pretty good. Bill C-21. So, think you're doing a great job, just like riding a bike. Well, my software all had to be updated, and it's some of it I had to reinstall some of it. So anyways, I think I'm getting caught up. Southern BC, the left coast. Northern B is conservative. Check political map. Oh yeah, for sure. I lived in the Lower Mainland there for pretty much 20 years. We're like sitting ducks. What we are, I think, is we're a shortcut to the U.S. from Russia and China. If China went after the U.S. on one side, say on the west coast, and Russia come down through Canada, what a mess that would be. So I can't get into their heads. I have no idea how they plan or what their plans are, but I mean, come on, Canada, all that is just it's a section of land that they can, and airspace that they can easily get through. Look at the speed of these MiGs and those J-20s. China's got the speed. They could be over here in no time, or you wouldn't have a chance. And what are they going to do? Oh, they're going to try to upgrade our DEW line, our distant early warning line. By the time that radar shows up anything, they're long gone. They'd have a better heads up by looking up and watching it fly over than looking at the radar screen. Bought Katie. They'll use just will be fine as long as they identify as F-35s. Well, there you go. Nick, banks are done, dude. Banks especially, hence CBDC. Yeah, that's the other thing. Look, there's so much coming down the pipes here, right? So fast. They're pushing so hard. They're saying now 6 months. I see 6 to 8 months it might be brought in the U.S. The Fed. Canada, we might be ahead of the U.S. I think the thing to do now is, if there's any way possible, to to get a few grand of cash in hand at home, because they might switch. I mean, well, their plan is to switch to the CBDCs. But think about it. If you go to buy locally at a butcher or a farmer or whatever, they're probably not going to want CBDCs. They're probably going to want cash. And when they go to the mechanic to get their neighborhood mechanic or their buddy to get their vehicle worked on, he's probably going to want cash too. And then when the mechanic goes to, buy a secondhand, whatever, noisemaker, well, whoever's selling the noisemaker is going to probably want cash too. Cash is going to be king. It's still going to be out there. It's going to be a dual, I think, system. But remember, you're not going to be able to get it from the bank if you don't have it now. So you got to get whatever you can, I think, and just hang on to it. So try to work around it. Try to work around the system. Look at what they did in Nigeria. They brought it in. They tried to force it on people, and they had such a small number of the population that actually bit and went for it. Everybody else was still using the cash. So that's the way I see it anyways. I think there will be a dual system. Liquid gas, thank God there's a military outpost in Alaska. They will help protect us. Yeah, but I know when they got a big one, and I think it's in, I'm trying to think of the name of the place in Alaska. Anyways, it all depends how much, what they've got there, and how much is coming over top. Fairbanks, I think it is. I think Fairbanks is the big air base or military base there. Yeah, Terry, lots of online petitions. Yes, there are. I've signed quite a few myself. They just get kicked aside is the problem. It's like a talking point for the Trudeau and his henchmen and women there. They just want to laugh it off and just ignore the people. They're going to do what they want. They're going to do what they're told, not by the Canadian people. I don't know. We're going to find out. This winter could be a rough one. Everybody's forecasting it, so. Nick, never buy a boat for cash in 2020. No, but I think when it comes down to actually buying beef from a rancher or something, you're going to be better off to have cash on hand because you might not be able to get it in the store. And the rancher won't be able to make any money either going through the regular store, so. Silver is way better to trade with. A couple of bucks, the rest in silver. It's biblical currency. Yeah, silver is great. Silver's got an awful markup on it right now. It's crazy. I've been checking. Last I seen it was $40 Canadian an ounce. So the market itself isn't that high, but it's the transaction fees or whatever through the brokers. They've got it jacked up pretty good. Also you can buy breakaway gold. I don't know if you've seen that or not. You buy the sheet and you break off. It's got break lines on it where you can break off, I think, a gram at a time or something, right? Which is handy, but we just don't know where it's going to go or how it's going to end up. But like Thinker says, check the Bible. it seems to be following right along those guidelines. So also a lot of the financial experts, they're saying the same thing, silver, gold. I think some of the countries now are trying to buy silver off their citizens. They don't want them to have it. That's a good sign. It means you better keep it. You know that metal strip in the dinero everyone has? They can tell exactly where every piece is using LiDAR. They can track it around like a cell phone. Interesting. We know we're being tracked and monitored. What I seen today, going back to Bill C-21 there, was what the native guy was talking about was there's a clause in there now they're pushing through that if there's a disgruntled neighbor or an ex or some other individual that got ticked off because somebody said something or did something, now they can just go to a judge. This is written in there now. They can just go to a judge, and this is all anonymous. So they can go to the judge and say, this person over here is dangerous, and they could be set off at any moment. And they've got all kinds of stuff in there that they shouldn't, that's dangerous to the public. And they'll bring in, the judge will, there's no warrant or anything. They just say, yep, we got to, solve this problem, come up with a solution right now. So what we'll do is they'll send the collection out, they'll knock on the door, they'll kick the door in if they want to, confiscate everything. The individual has no rights. They can be arrested. No charges, just arrested. Confiscated all their hardware. And then afterwards, when they can prove that they're innocent, then there's no repercussions to the person that filed the complaint. And the individual, the victim, doesn't get anything back, and they're banned for life from having any personal hardware. You don't think that's going to happen? That's written in there now. These are some of the things hidden in there that's going through. So, Terry, silver markup isn't bad, steady, it's not been jacked up, I buy lots of it. Wow, I don't know, it's a broker I'm looking at here, it's $40 an ounce. I haven't checked them on spot, but I think 40 is pretty high. Liquid guy bought yours silver way back, $7 an ounce. Yeah, I bought it at 12 or 18 or something like that. No reloading components available. No kidding. No, also no, well, any explosive, like for target practice, you can buy the 2-part mix there for target practice, but no, that'd be illegal too. They're down to the 30-30 lever actions now, and I think they're even trying to get the single shots out. Imagine trusting media, government, big tech, Health Canada after the last 3 years. Yeah, I've been mentioning this quite a bit, that what this has done is showed us the corruption in the government, the media, the medical system, the justice system, legal, you name it. The corruption is rampant. It's all been exposed. divided families. People showed their true colors. And I've met a lot of really good people that refused to go along with things, which I would never have met before. So that was the upside to it. Calling back nurses in Ontario, ones that haven't had their, haven't been poked in the arm, I mean. Some of them were saying, no, we're not going back, or around here anyways, because they're saying, why should we go back? They're going to want us to do that to everybody, and they don't want to do it themselves, so why would they want to do it to the general public? And then they'd have to go in for training, so they'd have to get it themselves. They'd have to be trained on brainwashed is what it is. So no, it's actually all good, and yeah, we should all do that, and right. So there's all this stuff's going down, right? You know, like I say, get rid of the self-protection and get rid of the militaries. The government, the country's not protected, and give everybody this, get them all jacked up on this other stuff, and I don't know. Terry, $38 an ounce for a generic round. MRCS Edmonton. I used to buy there. I'm sure that's who it was. They're on 118th Avenue. Is that right, Terry? So I'm not too far from, it's 118th Avenue, and I forget what trail that is. Anyways. MRCS, that looks familiar. I'm pretty sure I bought from them. They're from South America or somewhere. They're a good bunch, him and his wife. Now I buy, it's 100 kilometers from here, but it's $20 for ship the order. It doesn't seem to matter how much. Fail Firearms Act 1998, guilty until proven innocent, reverse onus, yeah, no kidding. So we get a lot of stuff going down at one time. Like I say, the country's got no defense, we're not allowed to have defense. They don't want us to have our own, be able to be independent with our currency. They want us under complete control, and yeah, it is communism. I got jabber there, that's communism, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But then again, Trudy admires that, right? Thinker, yes, end days, biblical understanding, don't panic, don't fear, just be cool with Yeshua, get your house in order, we don't make it off this planet alive, never get out of here alive, and with what they're trying to do, it'll be quick. Terry, oh, that's the spot. Oh, wow, that's getting up there, eh? Am I right on the location though, Terry? Is that 118th Avenue, Northwest? I think it is. Nice Mexican people. Yeah, okay, I knew they. I thought they were from Brazil or something, but yeah. Jabber sounds worse than World War II, when at least we had military to protect us. Oh yeah, look, this next one's just going to be total destruction. I think they could come through Canada and just avoid the cities, not bother the cities at all. We got enough open land that they could come through and go right down to the U.S. northern border. They do a few strikes, take out a few. Well, we only got a few bases. We don't have anything. So I guess once they come over the northern part of the country, they might as well just lock the doors and turn the lights out on the bases and go home where it's safe. Bill, Edward Dowd on Rumble, must see. 82% increase in excess DEET. 18 to 44 years old. Oh yeah, oh yeah. As I was on here just, well, about 10 minutes ago, an ambulance went by. Sad, yeah. I know it's disgusting. It's Sudden adult. Yeah. Yeah, the ambulance went by, heading out with the lights on. Yeah. I can't think of the trail there, but it's pretty close to it. Can I stream Edward Dowd? I don't know. I'm having trouble, Phil, with just doing those, opening up those web pages. It started freezing up, buffering. So I don't think I have the capability anymore. I've got the high-speed internet, fiber op, but yeah, I think the computer's a little bit, doesn't quite handle it very good. So, kind of limited. I could always send the link out and people can watch it at their leisure. That's the place. Never ever have any issues. No, I thought they were just great to deal with. They probably got a new dog by now, because when I was there, the old dog was always followed you right up to the cash, to the counter there, but bars on the door and a little shady section of town, but yeah, it was. I dealt with them a lot there, working up north. So, anyways, yeah, Phil, that's the problem right there, trying to stream. So, but I could send out links. That's the easiest way to do it. Like, I'm not handing over my security devices. No, glad I don't have any. MRCS is right on. Yeah, it is. Well, I finished my last lesson today on my ham radio course. I get to sit on the next course, a repeat, for free. I'm going to have to do it because my head was just going in circles half the time through it. It was just, some of it was just over my head, so I got to go back through it again. It's 2.5 months long, twice a week, about 3 hours each lesson. Anyways, I got some weak points I got to study. But today was a relief to make it through. Started the last week of September and finished today. So it's a very deep course, very long. Haiti National, the increasing number of people have a sudden medical crisis must be getting hard for normies to ignore. They seem to have no problem ignoring it, though. I noticed there's a lot of face coverings now. Every time CBC comes out with a scare tactic, everybody starts putting their face coverings on. Not everybody. But I bet you it was 50% today when I was in the store. Yeah, MRCS in a sketchy area. Yeah, no kidding. I always kind of look both ways when I come out of there. Park right in front of the door and then hit the streets. Years ago, Putin said, Americans, never give up your irons. Yeah, that's right. I'm just trying to be a little careful on here. I hate doing that, but I've noticed a couple of channels, they've got strikes against them. What they're doing, they go back a year, 2 years. They were doing that with me too, and that's why I privatized all my previous videos. If you go on my YouTube and look, you'll see that there's hardly anything on there. But anyways, there's I'm sorry, I just lost it. I was watching a chat here at the same time. Yeah, anyways, the YouTube, they're going back years, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, to see if they can find anything to give a strike to the creators. So I said, okay, you want to play that game? I'll just privatize everything and just kind of start over. So Yeah, there's a lot of crap going on we don't know about, isn't there? Deep underground military bases. I'm not denying it, but who knows? Phil, what courses? Well, it's a ham radio course, and it's everything from basic electronics, you know, I couldn't begin to name everything it touches on. It's so in depth. The thing is, it's a 70% pass mark, but if you get 80%, then you get honors, and you get to go below 30 megahertz on the spectrum, which opens up some long distance channels. So that's where I'm at. I wanted to make sure I can do some practice exams, which I've got to start doing now to see where I'm at. But I want to get the long distance, and then the antennas and all that stuff, and the base station and all that good stuff. I got the handhelds, the bow fangs. David Eby. Phil, who's David Eby? The name sounds familiar, but I think I just seen that name not too long ago. Captain Nobody, our pharmacy in a town of 1,729 population are lined up for the juice. Wow. Captain Nobody, they got everybody terrified. I see some of the older folks and the real seniors in the stores that they're walking around zombified. They look scared to death. They won't look sideways. Liquid Gal, congrats to you, Fred, for learning your ham radio. Yeah, it's something that I think we should all have. Communication is a big thing. Looks like I'm froze up again. Yeah, communication is going to be a big thing. Snowmatic. Julie Moira just stopped vlogs on Snap. Yeah. We're at that point that we have to we're being attacked from all sides, right? So we got to be very careful. We're being scrutinized daily. Phil, your political YouTube channel is shadow banned, yeah. Terry, Phil put a link to your channel, yeah. Well, you got her there, Captain. It sure is. It's hard to believe that way this is rolling out. The thing is, though, we've had the internet as an information source, and the information has got out, and that's tearing them apart. They want this shut down. Now we got Elon Musk. He's going to release a bunch more stuff from Twitter, and they're all freaked out over that. So we'll I don't know. I just shake my head. I go through every day as if it's as normal as possible, but every time I go out, I usually grab a couple of cans of something or something, you know. So I never come home empty-handed, even if I only spend $5 or $10. I make my trip pay, because the price of gas, for one thing. Glenn, Julie Moira, last video on Rumble was 10 months ago. Wow. So it's just dropped out. Jabber, don't forget they lie about everything, that they do. Phil, hard course? Well, it all depends. I found it hard. I know another woman that was taking it two at the same time, and she just found it extremely hard. And yeah, it's very in depth. Put it that way. Great instructor, Al Penny, but I'll tell you, there's a new course starting up on January 26th. If anybody wants to take the course, if they're interested, it's $50, I think it is, for the course. The exam is free and your license is free. So, yeah, if you're interested, send me an email. Say, yeah, I would love to try the ham radio course. I'll get you the link for registration. It's going to be coming out in the next week or so. It's going to start the 26th of January. So, yeah. Like I say, if you're interested, let me know. I'll email you the link. So it's Sundays, Atlantic time, 2 p.m. Thursdays, Atlantic time, 7 p.m. There's people all across Canada on there. So, like I say, anybody interested in getting their ham license or taking the course, send me an email. I'll send you the registration link. I'm with you, Cap. Nobody. Cheers. I haven't been sick either. I've been around a lot of sick people, mentally and physically. John Kennedy, search American intelligence media for great information on many things. Okay. No, they never planned on richest man in the world, freedom speech martyr. No. Bill, you stock up noodles, rice, toothpaste, soap, etc. Everything. I've even been picking up a few extra vehicle parts, windshield wipers, air filter, oil, just regular stuff that you know, washer fluid, looking after my vehicles, myself and my vehicles. I got the F-150 and I got a little Toyota, older Toyota that I use for beating around town with. So, which is good to have too. I need a truck and I need a town car, so, but extra parts for them, spark plugs, just a few things that are common. There's good news, Bear. Yeah, it's worthwhile. The oil I bought on sale, 5-liter jugs, and they're now I just saved a bunch of money. And I've told people what you buy today is going to cost you more tomorrow, so you might as well buy it today rather than wait until tomorrow and pay more if it's there. I got to slow down on Amazon. I know by about 9:30 at night I'm in a shopping mood for some reason and I start buying stuff. I got to stop that. I'm going to apply for a passport lately. If so, what was your experience and how long did it take? I was looking at that just the other day there, John Kennedy. And then I got kind of wondering, well, is it going to be any use? Some of the other countries are just as bad. Canadian National, that's a great thing to have. I think you're talking about the ham license. If that's what you're talking about, yes, it is a great thing to have. You got to know what's going on around the world. I also bought a really skookum little shortwave radio, and it's a beauty. Not that expensive, and it's quite heavy, so it's solid. I can get, I think I got Czechoslovakia. I was out in the bush out back, and I was picking up, I think it was Czechoslovakia in English. I think I paid about $35 for the radio online. So that's handy too. And it's got AM. I think it's got AM. It's got FM, shortwave, medium wave, long wave. So that's pretty handy, and it'll fit in your pocket. Takes 3 AA batteries. The other thing I did, folks, was I've been buying rechargeable batteries. So I'm not going to be stuck for batteries. I have 4 D cells, I got 8 C cells, I got 10 AAAs, and I think I got 20 AAs, and 4 9-volt. So no more batteries, just keep them charged. You know, everything runs on batteries these days. If you don't have power, you know, fill a habit, yeah. I think they play the game with gas just like you play the game with freedom. They overcharge you, then they come back 80%, then they overcharge you 100%, and they come back 80%. That's right. That's exactly what they do. What, after a few beers? Yeah, okay, that's usually what happens. Is it possible to apply for dual citizenship? If you marry a woman from another country, sure, right? Then you can get dual citizenship, but you just can't apply, I don't think, for dual citizenship. Still pizza every Sunday, Fred? No, I've backed off. I haven't been online here, so and today I actually cooked something for myself, so. Gerald Leet, I don't recognize that name. What need are new transport aircraft capable of supplying food and building materials to the northern towns? Their airports are 4,000 feet or less in gravel surface. Jets need runways over 7,000 feet. Well, I think you mean what we need are new transport aircraft. Gerald, it's hard to put it's hard to put things in order of necessity when we need everything. Everything's been depleted. How many billions of dollars is this clown show giving away to the other clown show over there that Putin's dealing with? Like, you know, he's just stacking money over there offshore. He's just stealing from us. They're just giving it to him, and how much is coming back? It's just like I'll give you this much, and you give me this much back, and there's more deception and corruption going on right now. Where? When are these? Are they ever going to be held accountable, or are they just going to skate away? They usually do. How many corrupt prime ministers in the past just laugh it off and disappear? I don't know. Hey, Randy. Good to see you here. We're still missing Kathy, aren't we? Kathy NB hasn't shown up. Don't know how she's doing. Other than that, we got Randy back from beer and supper. Yeah. So next week is the 18th. I was looking at the calendar yesterday, and starting the 15th, I've got orders coming in. The 15th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Wow. And probably more now. Was back on there last night. Yeah. So anyways, next week's the 18th, and then after that is Christmas. Boy, that's sneaking up. 2 more weeks. Snow, where's Kathy MB? I do not know. Captain, nobody, you have to cook every day. You're 200-pound St. Bernard will eat me if I don't. We used to have a long hair saint when I was a teenager. She loved jumping in the passenger side of the van and driving around. Freak people out when they look up the van and look up this dog with his big head sticking out looking down at them. Quite the dogs. Yeah, there's bagels. Well, hello back. John, all the PMs are criminals. All the politicians are in there for one reason, and it's not for us. Phil, the uke kickback. You got it. Well, I mean, you look at their leader over there, I can't really say his name, I might get in trouble, but he liked dancing in his high heels and, you know, women's shoes, and so does Trudy. And actually I haven't seen Trudeau do that. I've seen, what's his name, O'Toole, was walking around in the red high heels, but nobody, JT won't eat it if it isn't what I'm eating. Funny thing about the St. Bernard we had, she wouldn't eat peas. Wouldn't eat them. We could take some leftover potatoes and maybe some carrots or maybe and some meat or something in there, and she'd clean that bowl right out. The bowl would be licked clean, and the only thing left in there was the peas. Somehow she managed to separate those cooked peas from everything else. They weren't crushed up, they were just the way they come out. And that was the only thing left in her dish. Amazing how she could do that. Randy Doan, ham radio still there. Oh, ham radio hasn't gone anywhere. More and more people getting on it all the time now. So it's actually, the numbers are growing because people are concerned about communication, whether locally or worldwide. Snow UCB is old. There's a sticker of Burt Reynolds on it. Mine's not old. I got 2 of them. I got this Uniden handheld, but then I got one in the truck. I got the President McKinley in the truck. Randy, you got CBN ham. Same here. You got a scanner. I got, right now I'm just doing the little Baofangs, these ones. But I want to get a base set up. I've got an antenna up on the roof here now. So, looking at, for one out in the outback, I need an antenna for Man of the Year. Canadian National. Man of the Year is not a necessarily a good title. Adolf was Man of the Year in 1936, I think it was. And then Stalin was Man of the Year twice. Ayatollah Khomeini, Man of the Year. Who was the other one? There's 4 of them anyways. Complete tyrants. They all made Man of the Year. So, I forget the 4th one. If you look it up anyways, just Google Man of the Year tyrants. and you find all four of them, right? Stalin was, I think it was Stalin was Man of the Year twice. So, Reverend Jim Jones jumping in late. Yeah, I guess. This is almost done. Easy B, you guys heard of the Climate Ministry building, Armory Prison in Winnipeg, 50,000 square base. Glenn Beck was talking about it on his channel. I heard about that too. Yeah. This is a long ways from over. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. So, Cap, no way. When they punch the switch, comms be priority. You got that right, Captain. Yep. We've got to be able to communicate. They want to stop that. They don't want us to communicate. The cell phone is not the way to go. It'll be shut down anyways. It looks like the first car phone. The brick. No kidding, eh? I know. It's a little smaller than the original brick. So, how are we doing here on time? Oh, we're running over time. But, shame is people just get on. Now, you know anyways that we're back in business here on Sundays. And it's great to see everybody on here. And hopefully there's a few other of the old crew will come back. And see how everybody's making out. I think let's do this. If there's anybody, if you have any topics that you want to talk about, or you want to go over on the live stream, send me an email. Try to get it out early in the week though, so I got time to look at it, and then I can put something together, see what I can do. But I know there's a lot of issues. There you go, John. Nikita Khrushchev, that was the other one, yeah. Number 4, 1957, yeah. So being Man of the Year on time doesn't really mean that you're a good Man of the Year. Yeah, nobody. Confucius say, when we cook carrots and peas in the same pot, very unsanitary. Yeah. So, Dennis Duval, you're back. Welcome. Well, thank you very much, Dennis. Yeah, we're back. Back at it. So next week, don't forget to join in. Say hello to each other. I see there's, like I say, lots of some new faces too, new names on there. It's always nice to see. Good News Bear, it's over members of Parliament preparing their affairs. They go through the judgment process. That's about to begin. Oh, Good News Bear, we just don't know what's going to shake out of this, eh? There's so much that should happen, but how much is going to happen? That's why they got the big push on right now. They're scared. They know they got to get everything. It went from Agenda 2030 down to 2025 now. So they really ramped it up. So we've got to, I don't know, got to fight it any way we can. What really ticks me off is that Canadians have had it so good for so long, and I don't mean real good because we've struggled. You know, we've fought, we've worked hard to try to get by and everything, and dealing with this system that is stacked against us. It's corrupt, and people just went along with it. Oh, it's all good. It's okay. You know, this one's going to save us, and this one's going to destroy us, and it's just. It's sickening. And you look out there right now and there's people walking around with these coverings on them. over their face, and they're fine with that. They think it's the government's got their best interests. They're protecting them. All they got to do is just do what they're told, and it's all going to be good. These people don't realize that they're selling them out. They're selling out their future generations. They're selling us out. That's what ticks me off. Facts. Kathy MB will probably be on Plaid Army live at 8:30. We'll give her a heads up there, Faye. And I'm going to shut it down here now. We're running a little overtime, and I got some other things to do. And we will do it again here next week. And if anything comes up, I'll try to get some links out to you. I can't promise that. I'm out of town tomorrow. So there's Rainy Steps. How's the greenhouse? The greenhouse is shut down for the winter. I'm growing indoors. I'm doing lettuce and the spinach. I just set up for it. Okay. So you folks have a good week. And thank you very much for joining in. It's been a blast seeing you on here and you guys putting up with me for another hour and a half. I can't believe you do it, but you do. We're going to Pure Bloods. Pure Bloods. What was that movie, Red Dawn? They were called Wolverines. Well, now it's Pure Bloods. Okay, folks. You guys and gals have a great week, and we'll do it again next week. So take care of yourselves out there, and it doesn't hurt to prepare a little bit for what's going down, right? So I'll leave it at that. Bye for now. God bless.